Let's bring in ABC News political director Rick Klein, along with attorney Jeff Robbins, the former chief minority counsel at the Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations. Gentlemen, thanks so much. Rick, let's start with you. The committee showed that the mob surge, as you just saw, both inside and outside of the Capitol after Trump's tweet saying Mike Pence didn't have the courage to do what should have been done. We learned that at one point, as Rachel pointed out, the mob was just about 40 feet away from the vice president and his team heading down to that area where they were, and that the Proud Boys intended to kill him if they had the chance. So outside of all of that, if that wasn't enough, what stood out to you most from the testimony?
We learned also yesterday, Phil, that even after the riot was underway, that there was still a pressure campaign on the vice president and others to try to overturn the election, that even then, White House lawyers, at the behest, apparently, of former President Trump, had not given up their effort. Mike Pence referred to it through one of his aides as rubber room stuff, but they were still intent on seeing the election overturned, despite what was going on. An absolute shocker. And afterward, the idea that the White House lawyer, John Eastman, working for former President Trump, had emailed Rudy Giuliani and said he wanted on that pardon list. It is another example of someone who apparently knew what they were doing was not just wrong, but potentially illegal, that they'd be asking for a pardon. By the way, he didn't get that pardon, but it doesn't change the circumstances around that. Eastman refusing to cooperate with the committee. We also know from other reporting that he's still trying now to overturn the election in a few states.
Yeah, I want to follow up on that. Jeff, Eastman wrote to Rudy Giuliani, as Rick just said, that on January 6th, saying he, quote, decided that he should be on the pardon list. How much of these hearings are meant for an audience of one, and in this case, Attorney General Merrick Garland, and how could these allegations translate into potential criminal charges?
Well, that's exactly the right question. I mean, the committee seems to have decided that it doesn't need to linger on the issue of dereliction of duty or disregard for democracy or lack of moral compass on the part of the former president. Rather, they're going right to the issue, exactly as you suggest, of criminal culpability. That is to say, of laying out a case, evidence beyond a reasonable doubt of corrupt motive, of dishonest intent, of an instruction to break the law, of knowing violations of the law. And you're exactly right. There are two audiences. One is the American people, and there's a hope on the part of the committee that the fog that exists on the severity of January 6th will be punctured. And the other audience is, exactly as you say, the Attorney General, who has a very serious decision to make. And the fact that the department has asked the committee urgently for all of the transcripts of this testimony tells you something.
Rick, Judge Ludig, the federal judge that was there yesterday, says the danger to democracy did not end on January 6th, saying Trump and his followers put assurances in place that they will succeed in 2024, where they failed in 2020. He also called the president a clear and present danger to the United States. Those are strong words, and we know what they mean. What exactly do you think he meant by all of that?
Many states have changed the way that they count votes to actually make possible some of the last-ditch things that the Trump legal team wanted done. And just this week, more primaries where election-denying Republicans were nominated for offices like Secretary of State or Governor, where they'll be overseeing potentially the 2024 elections if they win.
And Jeff, finally, the federal judge who was there, Judge Ludig, called Eastman's plan to force Pence to block the certification of the election results. He called it a coup in search of a legal theory. How do you think this would have played out in court had Pence followed through with the plan as Trump was pushing him to do? Forget about how it would have played out on the streets as they were talking about. How about court?
He would have lost. That position would have lost. But in the process, as the judge warned and as the vice president's legal counsel said, and as others have said, there would have been chaos and worse on those streets. You know, it occurs to me that this is the 50th anniversary today is of the Watergate break-in, something which the criminals, as they were proven to be in the White House, called a third-rate burglary. Well, in retrospect, although it wasn't a third-rate burglary, relatively speaking, it was compared to the evidence that has been laid out over the last week and a half.
Yeah, ironic that it falls on that date. Jeff Robbins, Rick Klein, thank you both so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Phil.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.